Welcome to Grow and Give, a modern victory garden project from Colorado State University Extension. We're here to help you learn to grow food for yourself, your family, your neighbors, and your community. Share the harvest. Keep it local. If you're gardening in Colorado, you know that the season can really bring some changes, and hail is often a gardener's bane. Hail is a destructive force. In just minutes, your garden can go from this to this. We've had some pretty strong hailstorms that come through almost every spring in different parts of Colorado. And if your garden's been hit, what can you do? Well, dry your tears and go on out and assess the damage. Make sure you're removing any of the affected plant parts. Often, once you've cleaned up a little bit of the mess, you can take a good assessment of the plants themselves to see if they can grow out of it. Take away the badly shredded leaves, maybe clip off some of the broken stems, and harvest any of the fruit that has holes in it or is obviously bruised. Then check what's left. Sometimes an unbroken stem, even if it's been shortened, will be able to grow back. Some tomatoes are very resilient, and if the damage isn't too bad, they can grow back quickly. But what you want to do is consider the recovery time. How much is left in your season? Is there enough for the plant to grow out of it? Or should you just count your losses and harvest the rest of that plant to use if it's possible? For example, hail on potatoes can be very different from hail on leafy crops. Root crops such as potatoes or beets that have destroyed leaves need to use the energy that's been stored in their roots or their tubers in order to send out new shoots and new growth. If you're trying to get them to resprout that way, what you're doing is compromising the quality of the part of the plant that you're wanting to consume, the tuber for the potatoes. So you have to really consider how much time is left in the season. And most often, if your plant is damaged like this one in the picture, it may not be worth trying to regrow it. For leafy vegetables, be patient, clean them up, and then give them at least a week to recuperate after the storm. If there's no sign of life, you can replant those, but clean them up and then check to see if they're sending up new leaves. Our cucurbits, like melons, squashes, cucumbers, they're going to look really bad, but they have these big broad leaves that typically protect the plant, and where the leaves might get very tattered in the hailstorm themselves, what you want to do once you've cleaned them up is check the growing points of the vines themselves. If they were intact, in other words, if the plant leaves protected them, that vine might be able to grow out of it, especially on the types that are going to continue to produce. Cucumbers and summer squashes are very good at bringing out new blooms, and we eat that fruit when it's young. But things like pumpkins and winter squash, if the damage is too great, it may not have enough time in the season to put on new fruit and then size it up and mature it. If you do have to pick and remove some of the summer squash or cucumbers that have been damaged by hail, use them immediately. They've been bruised or they've been given pock marks in them, and that opens the fruit up for decay organisms like bacteria or fungi. Tomatoes are one of the most popular crops that we have in the garden, and they are one of the ones that when hail shreds them, gardeners are truly, truly sad. It depends on whether you're growing determinate tomatoes or the indeterminate as to whether or not it's worth trying to save them. In cases like these photographs here, where the plant has been severely shredded, a determinate tomato may not have enough time left in the season to regain its leafy canopy and then flower again. Indeterminates that continue to grow might take a little bit of babying to bring leaves back, but they might be able to recover. In any case, what you want to do is harvest that fruit and use it right away. If they're green tomatoes, put them into some kind of a green tomato chutney, or you can slice and use them for fried green tomatoes. If they're ripened, go ahead and put them into salsas or sauces that you can use those fruit in and cook them down. You can see here from these photographs, hail-damaged fruit should be picked and used immediately. And hail-damaged onions, like we see here on the right, can be severely bruised by a pounding hailstorm. You want to take a look and see if the bulb itself has sustained any injury, because you may have to harvest that at that stage in order to get anything usable from that plant. If you'd like to protect your garden before the next hailstorm, the best defense is covering up. Floating row covers, a lightweight fabric, could be used to help diffuse the impact of hail on your crops. But secure the floating row cover to hoops that rise above your plants and open them up if it's not a hailstorm. It gets pretty hot under there, so you don't want to leave them tucked in like this all season long. A great choice is hail cloth. It's a really sturdy option, and if you've suspended it on hoops or supports, it does double duty, both in shading your plants and capturing the hail like you see here in this photograph. Hail cloth can truly save the day. It's inexpensive and easily available. Just shop online for hail cloth. You can put it on hoops, you can put it on those uprights, or you can secure it on frames such as this one that are above your plants. What's important is that you secure it firmly to any of the supports, because wind often accompanies hailstorms and you don't want your covering to be blown away in the wind. The weight of the hail also will stretch that fabric down, so make sure it's secured firmly to its supports and has a little bit of play in it so that the hail won't drag it down to crush the plants below it. Learn more, grow more. Contact your local Colorado State University Extension office.